Hello, what's up YouTube? Ronix with it another tutorial, and in this tutorial I want to show you guys my color grading routine for this very image. And as you can see, I recently posted it on Instagram and people were sending me DMs about how I retouch this very image. So I want to show you guys how I do my color grading rather for all my images that I've been posting recently on Instagram. The tutorial is going to be a short one and it's going to be a very simple one to follow. So let's kick in and restart to see how I did color grade this image. So let's just kick in. So I'm just going to simply close my, I'm just going to rather minimize my Photoshop, and I'm just going to come to my capture one. So this is where I am right now. So I want to show you guys what I basically do for all my images. So this is capture 121, and if I told you maybe wondering why my sliders or options at this side, is because I want my adjustments to be like on my right hand side the way my Lightroom adjustments be. So basically what I do, I come to window and I come to workspace, then I come to migration like this. So you get everything on your right hand side when you do that. So basically what I do, I prefer to first of all come to my levels right down here, and I prefer to pull in my blacks like that. And also come to my whites and I just put them in like that. But while doing that, I always make sure my exposure warning is on, and as you can see, the overexposed area is this shot of the model. Then I come right above here, then I knock down my highlights all the way down to get rid of that overexposed area, and I come to my shadows and I just pull it up. Then my whites, I just pull it towards -42, and my blacks just slightly to around -8. So basically that is what I do. And after doing so, I'm going to come to my exposure and just pump it up slightly. So as you can see, my image still has some kind of magentas in it. So I'm going to come all the way down and change my ICC profile to from Canon 6D generic to Pro standard. And when I do that, you see that most of the magentas in the image have been gotten rid of, but we still have this kind of problem whereby the skin color is not really balanced, and we have magentas, some kind of greens, and some kind of yellows in the image. So would love to balance that. So what we're going to do basically, we're just going to come right above here and you're going to simply right click and create a new field layer, and you can simply name this layer maybe color balance or tone balance, whatever you'd love to. Sorry about my spelling. So I'm going to name that, I don't know what's wrong with my spelling. So we're going to name that color balance. So basically what we want to even out the skin tones, or even out the skin color in this very image after creating this new field layer. And like in Photoshop, we always have the opacity, and we can usually turn or play around with it later on in this tutorial if at all it is too much. So we are going to come all the way down to the color editor option. So under color editor we have basic, advanced, and we have a skin tone. So we're going to go with the skin tone for this case. We're going to come and get our eyedropper tool. Then we're going to look for the area that has most of the color that would love the rest of the image to look like. So I'm just going to randomly zoom in, Ctrl or Command plus. Then I'm going to just sample this. I'm going to go with the yellows because I want to get rid of the magenta. So I'm going to sample right here. And when you sample, you can even simply scroll down and activate view color range. So you can see where we have selected and we are good to go. and you can simply turn this off. So what we are going to do, we're going to come to uniformity and we're going to start moving this slider so that we can have a uniform color in the skin tone. So I'm just going to move this until we start looking at the image having that kind of uniform color. So I think at around there you can see the tones in the image are now turning out to look uniform. I'm going to simply come to the saturation and also intensify it, and after I'm going to leave all these the way they are. I hope you're getting this. Then if at all I show you the before and after so far, you can see this was the image initially before, and here we are before after. But for this case, when we are doing this, I'm going to turn this off. When we are doing this, you can notice that it has also affected the color of the lipstick. So we want to get back this color of the lipstick of the model and some of the color on the eyeshadow. So we're going to simply come back up right here and get our eraser tool. So when we get the eraser tool, we are simply going, you can either press M on the keyboard to get your mask and simply paint over the area you want to erase. So you're basically erasing color from the lipstick or the lips of the model like this. I hope you're seeing what I am doing, and you're going to come right above here to the eyebrows and also, sorry, on the eyeshadow, and also eliminate some of the color from the eyeshadow area. So I think this is fine. I'm just going to come and paint right there, and after doing so you can just simply hit M to get back your image, and you can see we have erased or removed the color from the lips. So I would prefer this image to be really warm, so I'm just going to increase on the temperatures to around 5000. And after doing so, we're going to go straight into Photoshop and we do some little bit more of color grading. I know there are some adjustments that I really or I'm not comfortable with in Capture One, so I'm going to simply come right here to image, and I'm going to come to edit with, and I'm going to come to Photoshop 2020. That is the version I'm using. And since I already have this TIFF file in my Photoshop, I'm going to simply change it maybe to PSD, and I'm going to leave it as a 16-bit image, and I'm going to go to edit variants, and it is going to be exported into Photoshop basically. So let it just export, and we are going to do some little bit more of color grading and eye whitening in Photoshop. So this is the image we have. So what I basically did for this image, I didn't want to take so much time maybe cleaning up this background. So what I did, I just came and cropped this image. So I got my crop tool and I made sure I cropped this image even more to get more emphasis onto the model's face, since this is more of a beauty portrait. So after doing so, I hit enter, and you can see this is what I retouch. And for those that would love to learn how I do my skin retouching, I'm going to put the link right above there, and you're going to follow it to learn how I do skin retouching. So under this, what I basically did, I came right, I'm going to duplicate the background layer by hitting Ctrl or Command J. So I did all this after my skin retouching. This step I'm about to show you guys. So always color grade after doing the skin retouching in Photoshop. So I simply came right down here. Then I came to the selective color option. So when I came to selective color, I simply came right down here. Then I came to my reds like that. So when I came to my reds, I came to my yellows, and I tried to remove them from the image like that, around -8. Then I also came to my magentas and I just intensified them like that. Then what I did next, I came to my blacks and I intensified the blacks to around 5 to add more emphasis in the darks or the blacks of the image. Then I came to my yellows and I moved this slider towards negative, around -5, and you can see what we have before and after, before and after. So basically I had to go into camera raw to do the eye whitening, and what I did, I created a stamp visible layer, or what I usually do, I create a stamp visible layer by hitting Shift Alternate Control E on the keyboard, or Shift Alternate Command E on the keyboard, and I duplicate that as usual by hitting Control or Command J. Then I come to filter and I come to camera raw filter. So under camera raw filter, what I usually do, I first of all come under to the camera calibration option. Then I come to the saturation of the red primary and I knock it all the way down to around -10. Then also come to the green primary and I knock down the saturation to around -10 too. So you can see where we are going with this very image. And after I have done so, I usually come to my hue and saturation. Then I come under the hues of this image, and since I would love to get more of my yellows in the oranges, I'm just going to simply knock that up like that to around 4. Then I come to the luminance and I'm going to knock it down to a little bit to around -4. Then also to my saturation and knock down my oranges, or reduce on the saturation of the orange color in this very portrait. So here we are right now. Let's see a before and after for the camera. That's the before and after, before, after. So what I did, or what I do, I first of all come to my adjustment brush tool and I come to these adjustments and set my brush. So usually I already have my preset for eyes and teeth, but I want to show you guys what I basically do for those adjustments. So since I have some yellow color in the eyes of the model, I come to the temperature and I move the temperature slider towards the opposite of yellow, and I'm just going to move it to around -27, and also move my tint to around 63 to retain the redness in the eyes. Then I come to the whites and also knock them up to around 4, and the whites too, like that. Then I come all the way down to the saturation. Remember, we have color in the white area of the eye and we would love to eliminate or remove that color from that area. So I'm just going to simply desaturate that color, but I'm not going to go all the way down. I just want to remain within 60s. Then I'm going to zoom in by hitting Ctrl or Command plus and reduce on the size of my adjustment brush tool by using the brackets right next to the P button, and just simply start painting only on the white area of the eye. Remember, don't paint on this corner because it is going to have an unnatural or unrealistic eye. So make sure you remain within the white area, or only within the eyes of the images you're trying to retouch. So just whiten those eyes like that. Then you can simply hold down the space bar and click and move. So we are going to also whiten the teeth of the model basically. So let's just do this and we are good to go. So basically we have just whitened the eyes and teeth of our model, and you can see what the image looks like right now. So just come and click OK, and you can see the image before camera roll and after, before, after. So what I would love to do, I'm going to simply come to right down here to selective color, and I'm going to still come this slider, and I'm going to also pump up my yellows a little bit to around, sorry, I'm going to come under the yellows, not the blacks, and I'm going to come to the yellows, and I'm just going to pump it up like that. So after doing so, I usually come under my photo filter. You know, color grading is really a complex topic, and there is no specific step you can follow for color grading, but you can always borrow a leaf. So come the cooling filter 82 and just cool down the image just slightly, or reduce on the density of the cooling filter, and for this case I'm just going to go with that. Then I also came to my brightness and contrast and added a contrast to this very image. And as you can see, the image we have is not retouched at all. So basically you have to do skin retouching, and I already linked the skin retouching video right above here on the link right of this video. So basically this is what I did for color grading this very image. So let me show you guys the before and after. So for our Photoshop color grading, I'm going to scroll all the way down and hold down the alternate key and click right here. You can see the before after. This has been just for the Photoshop color grading, and this is what we had after the Capture One color grading. So this is what the image after, this was the before, or the image straight after out of Capture One, and this is the Photoshop color grading before after. So if at all you love this tutorial, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe this channel if at all you're watching for the very first time. I'm Ronix from Ronix Photography. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in yet more tutorials on this channel that are going to be uploaded way soon. Don't forget to keep practicing and keep creating.